Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 75293, Resistance ITS Transport from the LEGO Star Wars theme. This set contains 932 pieces, 4 minifigures, and retails for $99.99 in the US. So here's the Resistance ITS Transport, and this is a set that I originally had no interest in at all. But a few months ago, back in July, I actually went to Disney World and I got to ride the Rise of the Resistance ride there. And after riding that, I knew I needed to get this set, because that ride is what this set is based on. And I think it is a little silly to base like a $100 LEGO set off a Disney ride. But despite that, I love that this set exists, and I'm very happy I have it. Because of course LEGO is something I love and something I collect. And this is a fun way to have like a memory of my trip in LEGO form. So let me take you through each part of it. So out at the front of the vehicle, you can see that there's these rotating stud shooter turrets. These are very fun for play because they rotate a full 360 degrees. And I also feel like it's integrated really smoothly into the rest of the build, like it incorporates into this round blue part right here. It looks a lot nicer than a lot of like other stud shooters I've seen incorporated into other builds. And there's one of those on each side, so you can have them both aiming in the same direction or in different directions. I don't know, it just gives you a lot of fun options. At the front, you have a kind of facade of a window. Like this looks like where the pilot would be looking out, and it has like the trans black pieces on it. But it actually doesn't look inside the build, it's just on top of bricks. But you can imagine that's where the window is supposed to be. Being at the front of the vehicle too, this is a little bit of a cockpit. So if you pick up this part of the ship right here, you can move it back, and there you get access into a little bit of interior. This is where Lieutenant Bek sits during the actual ride, so you can put him in right here. And once you've got him in, you can close it back up. You can see there's a lot of texturing and detailing around the sides. There's this little stickered piece right here with 2 Z's on it, and that's on both sides, of course. I really like the shaping around the side of the vehicle, how it's not just flat, like it has this sort of hexagonal shape. Some open Technic studs on here, as well as these slope pieces that sort of feel out of place. This entire area doesn't look great, but you don't see it most of the time because you're looking at it from the top down. So it doesn't bother me too much, but I definitely wish that was covered up a little bit better, especially because the rest of the build looks so elegant. This just feels really out of place. I haven't really mentioned the color scheme at all yet, but I do really like the color scheme here. Obviously, so many Star Wars ships are just gray, 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 and I just think it's boring how many Star Wars ships are just gray. And while the Star Wars ship is still gray, the blue just adds such life to it that so many other ships don't have, and that's just something I really appreciate about this build. Around the sides, you can see some more stickers. There's this yellow circle right here, the number 28, as well as some more detailing around the sides. And then there's also doors that open, so you can move this bottom door down here and this top door up here, and that gives you access into the main crew carrier part of the interior. And that exists on both sides of the build, and you have very similar stickers on both sides as well. So that's the way the characters get inside of the vehicle in universe, but if you want to access the inside of the vehicle, there is an easier way to do it. If you come to the top of the ship, you can actually completely remove the roof, and now you have complete access to the interior. Now that we're here, you can see there's a little bit of room to store figures, as well as this crate right here. This crate can be removed, and if you open it up, inside you can see there's just some blasters. I do have to say though, the interior is by far my least favorite part of this set, because the interior is what you see during most of the ride. You get a glimpse of the outside of the ship, but the interior is like what you really engage with when you're going on the Rise of the Resistance ride. And there's just nothing here. This is a huge vehicle, and there's a single 4x4 where you can pose figures. Like you can maybe fit 3 minifigures in there if you really cram them in. If you remove the crate, you can fit a few more, but not many more. I don't know, there's so much open space over here, and I get that's where the doors are and everything, but I wish they like found an easier way to like fit more characters in here, because this just feels disappointing that there's no interior space here. It didn't have to fit a million characters, but more than a 4x4 would have been nice. But that aside, putting the roof back on, you can get a better look at that now too. You've got these 4 blue 2x2s in the middle, and I like how they did these slanted parts around the sides. These are bent down ever so slightly, so much so that it almost looks like they're flat when you're looking at it from above. But there is a very slight angle to them, and it just gives it a nice texture that sort of separates it from other LEGO sets, because you usually don't see pieces at like so slight of an angle. It just creates really cool shaping, and it's something I appreciate. And then coming to the back, you can see there's multiple different slope pieces once again to create all sorts of texturing. And then there's so many thrusters. There's a total of 8 different thrusters back here. I think having this many thrusters creates like a really cool and unique look for this Star Wars ship, because again, I don't know, I felt in recent years so many Star Wars ships have looked very samey. And while this ship isn't like exquisite, it is very similar to many other Star Wars ships. There is a few things that it does to set itself apart, and this is one of them. You can see there's 4 large thrusters as well as 4 small ones. The large ones have a blue streak going around them. And then there's also stud shooters out the back, so I guess that gives you an ability to shoot at both an enemy in front of you and an enemy behind you. And then finally there's this black piece at the back, which almost looks like it should be a window or a door, but it's neither of those things. It's just a black rounded piece, and I'm just noticing you can see my reflection in there. What's up? And that's about all I have to say for the build of the Resistance ITS Transport. Not much to talk about in a $100 set, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's definitely a really pretty set from the outside, but I really wish there was more going on with the interior, because the interior really felt like a last-minute decision. And for being based on something that's like so focused on the interior, it's just a little disappointing to see that they didn't translate that over here. But that's about gonna do it for the build, so now let's take a look at the minifigures. So here are the first 2 minifigures in the set, and the only 2 like actual full minifigures. We have Vi Moradi and Lieutenant Bek. These two are both excellent minifigures. Vi Moradi especially, that hairpiece is awesome. I love that hairpiece on her. That hairpiece is the one reason I was considering getting this set already before I went on the Rise of the Resistance ride. But actually going on Rise of the Resistance gave me the motivation to buy the set for the set and not just for this one minifigure. But dang, this one minifigure is really good. So that hairpiece is black with blue printing on top of it. I kind of wish it was dual molded. That would have looked a little bit nicer, but the blue printing does still look really good, and I love how they almost had like a spray paint transition from the blue into the black. It looks super nice and it's so unique, and it makes this figure just excellent. Additionally, this character also has a darker skin tone, which we don't get too often from LEGO, so it always makes me really happy to see whenever they include something like this, because it just gives us more variety and diversity in our parts, and it gives people more options to make characters to represent themselves, or to make customs of fictional characters and whatnot. I think diversity is a very good thing, and face prints like this obviously are a very good thing for that. There's how she looks with that hairpiece removed, and there's her back torso print as well as her alternate face. General Bek is very, very funny. Obviously, he's got the Mon Calamari head in gray, but the printing on him is really good. I love the eyes. He's got tons of personality in that goofy looking little face. And then the torso prints of both of these guys are both pretty good. Nothing too exceptional. I really like the orange on Vi Moradi. And olive green's a cool color as well. No leg printing on either of them. While leg printing would have been cool, I don't think it was too necessary. And because they have so much detail in other places, Vi Moradi with her hair and General Bek with his head, it doesn't bother me too much that the legs don't have printing, though obviously it's always nice to get it. Yeah, as a whole, I like these two. Vi Moradi's the only minifigure in the set where I'm like, whoa, this is a spectacular minifigure. But I really like General Bek too, and again, after going on the ride, I like him a lot more than I would have otherwise. And then here are the other two characters in the set, the two droids. We have R5 and we have a Gonk droid. R5 is another one that's like a significant part of the actual Rise of the Resistance ride. So after going on that ride, it made me really happy to get this minifigure. However, I thought of an idea that I actually would have liked more than the figure we got. So when you're actually on the ride, the color of your R5 unit is random. It's how they differentiate like different groups of people going on the ride. Like I saw the red one when I was there, but I believe I had a gold one. And I think it would have been really cool instead of just giving everybody the red one, if the set came with this part and this part unprinted, and then a sticker sheet that had all the different color options. So that way, after going on the ride, you could customize this figure to match the color of the R5 unit from your ride. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if LEGO would ever do something like that because they've never done like stickers for droids before, or at least not to my knowledge. But I think it would have been really cool if they didn't. It would have made this figure feel a little more personal. But regardless, even if he's not the color of the one I rode with, he's still an awesome figure and he's still like representative. He's similar enough to the one I rode with. And yeah, he's a fun little Astromech droid. I like him. And then the Gonk droid's okay. Gonk droids are very funny, but they'll never come close to the original Gonk droid from like the early 2000s. I really wish they'd just re-release that one because that one was great. And like this one's fine, but it's just like a square built out of bricks. I don't really feel too passionate about it. He's got his little feet at the bottom, a stamp piece coming out the top to be like a little antenna or something. I don't really care for this one. It's a cute inclusion, but not for me. R5 is great though. So overall, would I recommend this set? Honestly, probably not. I love this set, but that's because I rode the Rise of the Resistance ride. And I think if you go to Disney and you ride Rise of the Resistance, sure, get this set. I think you'll love it. But if you're just a fan of Star Wars and you haven't been to Disney, you probably don't need to get this one. Because the reason I love this set is the connection it has to me. Because while it is like a pretty decent Star Wars ship, it is still a $100 gray Star Wars ship, and there's way more iconic ones on shelves right now. You probably don't need this one if you don't have like any personal connection to the ride. So I think this set's great as like a Disney World souvenir, but as just the set for anyone to buy, you're probably better off with something else. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have any of you guys ridden Rise of the Resistance? What do you think of it? What do you think of this set compared to that ride? If you enjoyed this video, please press like and subscribe if you're new. I do LEGO videos like this every single day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!